The Unbeaten Patriots, where we kick off our Week 3 edition of Top Plays and Prime Time Performers. After a statement victory in Week 2 over district runner-up Parkland, Freedom made it 2 in a row with a resounding triumph over Central Catholic in Week 3. A game in which the Pates led 35-0 at halftime, en route to a 49-15 win. A victory powered by senior quarterback Chase Walker, who completed 8 of 11 passes for 220 yards and 3 touchdowns, all of which came in the second quarter. After finding Amari Dubois from 62 yards out, it was then senior to senior as Walker picked up Jelani Frederick on a 43-yard pitch and catch. Walker's final TD toss went to Shakri Colwell, this one covering 25 yards for Colwell's 4th receiving score of the season. Walker up to 6 touchdown passes through the first 3 weeks. 3-0 Freedom visits fellow unbeaten Nazareth on Friday. The Blue Eagles staying unbeaten with a thrilling triumph over Wilson Westlawn last week in a game that featured 66 total points, 43 first downs, and 831 yards of total offense. Nazareth junior QB Peyton Falzone was the brightest offensive star of them all, completing 13 of 23 passes for 255 yards and 4 touchdowns. He hooked up with Lafayette commit Caleb Newsom on 35 and 52-yard scoring strikes. His longest TD toss went to Tanner Zelichowski. That covered 62 yards before he found Matt Laluga on a 43-yard pitch and catch. Falzone also added 77 yards on the ground, 50 of which came on this dynamic dash to the house late in the third quarter, which gave Nazareth the lead for good. The high-flying Eagles averaging 37 points per game through the season's first 3 weeks. Again, that game on 5:50 on Friday. Impressive quarterback play last week didn't just come through the air, though. For the second week in a row, Becca QB Carter Vasa led his team in rushing. The junior racked up 77 yards on the ground in a Week 2 loss to Emmaus before grinding out 97 yards on the ground in Week 3, propelling the Golden Hawks past District 3's Burks Catholic 28-10. Vasa found pay dirt on the ground not once, not twice, but thrice, rattling off a pair of 3-yard scoring scampers after first getting Becca on the board with a 9-yard TD tote. Through just 3 weeks, the junior in Vasa is already up to 10 total touchdowns, 6 through the air, 4 of them on the ground. As we mentioned, the Golden Hawks will visit the Easton Red Rovers coming up on Friday, 2-1 Easton. That game is on 5:02. Parkland, meanwhile, has an early start to the week, facing Pleasant Valley on Thursday. The Trojans got back in the win column last Friday with a 9-point victory at Northampton, a game in which Parkland struck early and never looked back. Sophomore tailback T.J. Lawrence with another impressive showing on the ground. 21 carries against the kids to the tune of 136 yards and a score. Lawrence opening the scoring by taking this option pitch and muscling his way to the house from 12 yards out. Part of the Trojans' 23-14 triumph over Northampton, Parkland's 15th straight win against the Concrete Kids. Lawrence is averaging nearly 7 yards per carry through the season's first 3 weeks, having found the end zone in total 4 times. Southern Lehigh's Sean Steckert, meanwhile, has 5 TDs already, 3 of which came this past Friday, as the Spartans raced past Lehigh. As a team, the blue and white racked up 240 yards rushing, 128 of which came courtesy of the junior in Steckert, who carried the ball 19 times, finding the end zone with 3 of those hauls. His first TD came just before halftime as he found pay dirt from 8 yards out. Steckert then extended Southern Lehigh's lead with a 43-yard scoring scamper just after intermission. The junior then capped his impressive evening with a 16-yard dash to the house. That put the Spartans up 27-3 en route to a 34-3 victory. Southern Lehigh is 2-1 heading into Friday's test versus North Schuylkill. Not sure, though, anyone in the entirety of District 11 has been more productive through the first 3 weeks of the season than Northwestern Lehigh's Eli Zimmerman, who accounted for 7 of his team's first 15 touchdowns after 2 weeks before adding 2 more scores in last Thursday's showdown at Bangor, which included a record-setting 75-yard punt return in the second quarter. The special teams score marked Zimmerman's 3rd punt return TD this fall and 4th of his Tigers' career, surpassing the mark previously held by his head coach, Josh Snyder. The speedy senior also added a 10-yard rushing touchdown, giving him 5 of those through 3 weeks. Northwestern is 3-0, having outscored its opposition 158-14. The Tigers visit Blue Mountain coming up on Friday.